Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Research and Innovation Training Institute. We are excited today to have the Office of Sponsored Programs presenting. We have leading the presentation as a trainer, Dr. Theresa Bailey, who joined the Division of Research and Innovation as the Director of Sponsored Programs. And she has more than 25 years of experience in research administration. She'll be joined today by her team, and we will have a glimpse of what it means for the Office of Sponsored Programs to be reimagined. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Bailey.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I am Theresa Bailey, your Director of Sponsored Programs. Upon joining Research and Innovation back in February 2021 and learning about the office, I began to reimagine another Office of Sponsored Programs. And that imagination is what we're presenting to you today. To paraphrase Astrid Lindgren, anything great that ever happened first began in someone's imagination. So I offer to you all today my imagination. Who we are the Office of Sponsored Programs, the centralized office with delegated responsibility for the submission and management of externally funded programs. And very simply put, our mission is to provide reliable, timely, efficient, courteous, and effective service and sponsored activities. We are currently located in the Wilhelmina Delco building. And I mention that because I've been advised that we had several other locations and people were looking for us in those different places. So we are in the Delco building on the first floor in Suite 141. Consistent with my reimagination of what OSP could be, it has been restructured for greater effectiveness, efficiency, accountability, and responsiveness. Our leadership is yours truly, humbly, Theresa Bailey. And as Karen said, I do bring more than 30 years of experience in research administration from various types of universities, governance types, different sizes, mission, and research destination. My responsibility to the Office of Sponsored Programs and to you, our stakeholders, is to provide leadership and management for the day-to-day office operations. Our Associate Director is Kimberly Cooks, who has responsibility for grants management and grants and contracts accounting. Kim joined us in March of 2021, and she brings with her more than 20 years of accounting and auditing experience. And rounding out our leadership for the Office of Sponsored Programs is Elizabeth Johnston-Vasquez. Elizabeth joined us in 2018, and she has recently been promoted as the Assistant Director for Pre-Award. She would provide leadership for the Proposal Administration Unit. The reimagination, we restructured the office into 4 units. The Proposal Administration Unit, Contracts, Grants Management, and the Grants and Contract Accounting. The Proposal Administration Unit at this point consists of Elizabeth Johnston-Vasquez and Vita Yancey. We will be adding another proposal administrator within the upcoming months. contractual agreements is being led by Donna Elmore-Cole. And again, the grants management and grants and contract accounting is being led by Kimberly Cooks. The grants management is Latoria Johnson and Melissa Mosley. In that area, we will also be adding another project specialist. And in the grants and contract accounting area, we have Troy Burns, who's a financial accountant, and also Carol Stocks, our financial accountant.
No, it's not.
In our reimagination, there are some new things you can expect to see this year. The proposal administrators have specific college and school assignments so that they'll be able to provide greater efficiency and more reliable services. And in addition, it would help our stakeholders to be able to know with whom they should speak with. We also are developing a roles and responsibility matrix that we will provide to you later this semester that designates the different responsibilities for a specific area, who has the responsibilities of the PI, and the different roles within the research and innovation unit. Beginning this week, we will start having new awards kickoff meeting. Our actually tomorrow will be our first pilot program with the library. On a quarterly basis, you will start receiving project reconciliation, and the first reconciliations are scheduled to be out October 15th. And we invite you to review those reconciliations and to speak with the designated accountant. Also, you will begin to see OSP more interactive as we will start having doing business with OSP workshops beginning a series. And because we want to offer continued improvement, you will begin to receive customer service surveys, and those surveys will soon be at the bottom of our emails. And with that, this is OSP Reimagined as an overview. And if you can imagine it, I really believe we can create it. So now I will give you Elizabeth to talk about proposal administration.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad that y'all have been able to make this meeting. Again, I'm now the Assistant Director of Pre-Award of Proposal Administration. And what I want to talk about today is how to submit a proposal, doing it in a way that is not only on time, but with minimal stress for all parties involved. Can you, I'm not sure who's managing the slides. I'm sorry, thank you. If there is only one thing you take away from the meeting today, I want it to be to contact us early. That way we can manage our resources in the best way possible and be able to find the time to answer the questions that you have. And you can contact us via the intent to propose form, which is on our websites, or you can just reach out to Vita or myself and we will get the process started for you. Our role is to assist you with all necessary paperwork to get university approvals to submit the proposal. We work with you in creating the budget that will comply with university guidelines, state laws, federal regulations, as well as meet the needs of the specific project we're proposing. And we will assist with all the required documents for the actual submission of the proposal. As mentioned, one of the things we've got to do is get university approval to do the work. We get approval from the PI, of course, all of the co-investigators on the project, their direct supervisors, their deans, the provost, and the VPR's office in order to submit that proposal. for that approval, we want to provide to them a final budget justification, and a statement of work. And we also want to secure all the required documents from the subawards that are working on your project, if applicable. One of the key components that we really help with is the budget. The budget needs to address, like I mentioned, university guidelines. It needs to address the project itself, because each project is a little bit different. And so we're here to help develop that with you. One thing we want to do is have all the personnel listed. We want to put their time on the project so that they are getting, so even if they're on a 12-month appointment, for example, that the university gets compensated for the time that they're working on this project instead. We want to help you get both graduate students and undergraduate students on your project. We will help you with the travel, both domestic and international. This one, I highlighted the fact that different sponsors want different amount of details, because some of our sponsors are okay with kind of a base number, and some of our sponsors want us to be very detailed with looked up per diems and looked up air flights. And that is one of the other things that's benefit of working with our office early, is we are able to provide not only what we need for the funding announcement, but we have the experience with these sponsors that we know what they're going to need and want from you at the time of award. And we look to anticipate those questions while we're developing the budget. And then we are going to ask you questions. Usually we start off asking for a bullet point list, just the names of the people working with you, how many trips, and then we're going to put it into our spreadsheet and help develop these costs and help you make sure that they are in the correct categories, because some of the categories aren't super intuitive. If you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. For example, capital equipment is one that's not super intuitive in the fact that it seems simple. If it's over $5,000, it's equipment, but there's rules and regulations on when in the budget, in the life cycle of the project, you can buy it. There's also fabricated equipment where the items might cost less than $5,000, but because you're building a piece of equipment, we can classify it all as equipment. And that's one of the questions we're here to help answer. We also want to encourage you to get graduate student tuition on your projects. This is something that all the major sponsors will compensate us for, and this will help us get be more competitive retaining students to Prairie View. It's currently not required on Prairie View budgets, but we highly recommend it that you budget it. And we also have to make sure indirect cost is properly anticipated on all the projects. Next slide, please. Then when it comes time to the proposal itself, after we get our budget developed and we get the items needed for writing, we're going to shift our focus to the proposal itself. And we're going to assist with whatever portal the sponsors are working in. If they want it in Fastlane, Inspires, Grants.gov, I've got logins to 30 different funding agencies. And I'm here to help us help you navigate those systems as well. Most of the sites are accessible to both the PI and to our office. And even when our office is the one that finally pushes the submit button. Through this process, I'm going to guide you through what the regulations for that sponsor is, whether it's in the funding announcement or in the official guides. The main thing I want to say here is that if the sponsor says 1-inch margin single space, they mean it. That's going to be one of the things I check for as you turn in the documents for me, but also know that that's just part of the review process with the agencies. We will also provide for you a complete to-do list on what is needed for the final proposal. The one hint I want to let you know, and I will always remind you all of this on these proposals, is If we have a proposal, in my experience doing proposals, if we have a proposal that at the last minute something happens and we're not able to meet the deadline, we're working really hard, we get really close and it doesn't quite make it, the problem is almost always an auxiliary document, a bio sketch or a current and pending. So those are very important, but what we try to do is encourage y'all to get those to us for review early so that you then have more time to work on the project narrative and polish it as much as you need to before submission. And one thing that we are working on is getting to where the PIs have submitted to our office final documents 5 days before submission, so that we have the time we need to review them and ask for corrections if needed, and to have everything in place so that we can have a successful submission. Next slide, please. This is a slide that is talking about the auxiliary documents that we like for you to have out of the way early. Okay, our role as proposal administrators will be there to assist you up until the time of award. Do know, as you're preparing your proposal, only about 1 in 5 submitted proposals get funded. But we are here to help you with that, to help you work on official resubmissions, and also to submit again to the same sponsors with a focus on a new research task. Because it does take multiple times, so I don't want y'all to get discouraged. You got to keep submitting to make it work. Know that our office is the proposal off sub part of the office. The proposal people are here to help you until we receive a contract or an award. And that's what this bullet point about additional information is talking about. Sponsors will often give us will ask for more information. This is always a good sign, never a guarantee, but they'll ask for additional information. And we ask that you notify the proposal administrator you worked with as soon as you get these requests. The sponsors are notorious for asking these on about a 4 or 5 day turnaround time. And again, the proposal administrators will help with this request. And then after the contract or award comes in, items get reassigned to our contract negotiator or a project group, and they'll talk about that more. The main thing I just wanted to know is that our office is the office that can accept the awards and sign the contract. So please don't sign them. Talk to our office and we'll get you on to the next group of people in our office to work with you. And that's all of mine. The next slides are for Donna.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I was going to say that. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, Theresa, for setting the stage. Here's what I want to do. I want you to imagine that you have gone through the maze that Elizabeth just discussed with you, and you are now on the receiving end of something that looks like you may be funded. So you go sliding into the next, nope, not the next slide. You go sliding into our office. Can you go back? Now, at this time, you're thinking, I'm ready to spend my money because they sent me a letter saying that they're going to send me a contract. Well, there's a little bit of time between, we hope it's always a very little bit of time between when you start getting notices or information that you're going to get the money and when you actually can spend the money. That time is the time the actual document is in contract negotiations. My colleagues have reminded me that I always say contracts, but the grants are there too. And so I want to make just a moment to say that we do grants, we do contracts, we do a lot of different agreements, which is another way of saying all agreements are handled in this area.
Excuse me, Donna, would you please turn on your video?
Well, why
Excuse
don't
me,
I do that? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. So as we move forward, those documents get into our house. We review them. So let's start there. So sometimes you'll get an award. It is immaculate. It is ready to go. All the terms are agreeable. So the timeline for that negotiation is pretty short, no more than 3 days. You know, we're all on the same page. What they want is what we want, and what they've asked for is something we can agree to. So during that time, if the document is received and reviewed for terms and conditions and congruency with the university and system policy, we're good to go. If the negotiations can continue with, says my internet connection is unstable, but I'm sure you guys are good, right? Negotiations with the funder can occur in the event of problematic clauses. If they say, there's always, unless they're using a standard form, we'll talk about that later, but there's always things like jurisdiction, governing law, and sometimes they'll stick in an indemnity clause or things like that. Those things, when you're dealing with your normal grants and contracts, really shouldn't come up or should be easy to negotiate. Like, we can't negotiate law or contract outside of the state of Texas. We're a state agency. So most times people say, okay, no problem, take it out. Or we both agree to be silent on it. So those are not big problems. Those I keep those in the timeline of those will probably be over with very quickly if we can just get back to them and they get back to us. Anything else? No guarantees. We'll go to those in the delay process. A document is consistent with policy and regulations, moved to the authorized rep for the university for full execution. So that's your 3-day turnaround time. That's, I heard I'm getting an award. No, don't turn yet. I heard I'm getting an award. I was asked for to rebudget, and the award came in. That once we have a piece of paper in the house that is actually something we can fully execute, whether we just need to sign it or they send it already signed and we don't need to sign it, those we'll leave in the 3-day category. So moving on to the next one. Slide, please. Then we have negotiation delays, which may take us outside of that 3-day deadline. So here are some scenarios that may cause that. There's missing or incomplete approvals. This could be all the way back to the proposal stage. Perhaps you knew the sponsor, you were going to get the award right from the beginning. You got proposal information into them. They send us the award immediately. But there's some processes that still have to happen in the proposal administration. So without those things, we can't move forward. So that can be a negotiation delay. Not that it's going to stop the award. We just got to have those things finished before we can move forward. Then sometimes those same things that I told you that are often not a problem at all are a big problem. It's not very often, but sometimes we go back and we say, we can't negotiate a contract that is outside the state of Texas governing law. And they say, we can't negotiate a contract that's outside of the state of Delaware. Well, then we got a problem. And because neither one, and we can't agree to remain, we can agree to remain silent if they do, but if they say, no, we have to have state of Delaware, then some other entities have to get involved. Now at that point, that's the third biggest delay is when additional party involvement is needed. Our TAMU systems, Office of General Counsel, or the sponsors, legal representatives, when those folks get involved, our office sits aside. We sit aside during that. We help with the negotiations. We let you know what's going on, but for the most part, we are at that point now, we're in negotiations to really get you the award, trying to find some way that we both can agree to terms that are agreeable. When that happens, the time frame is the most worrisome part, and I know that. That's when it's in my office. You are free to call me ask me where we are, what's going on. You may be included from time to time if it's really sticky. We had one that it really was international and some more questions just had to be answered before we could continue to work with it. And the PI was very involved because the other side of the house needed to get other things. So that's a good example of a delay. Now, once we're past the solutions and once we're past the problems, we now have the solution, we move forward. At that time, I moved all of the things over from my area to our post-award area, which is Kim's area. And I can only tell you that once fully executed, that's what it means. It means the award is contracted and ready to go. And then they start setting it up for you. Next slide, please. I want to introduce Kimberly. First, nope, we missed a slide. Uh-oh, my last slide's missing. So I'm going to try something. This will now be not just a test, but a listening drill because my last slide is missing. So you'll have to listen very carefully, but let's try this. So which documents do not need to be forwarded to our office for review? Listen to the documents. A, material transfer agreements, mutual non-disclosures, representations and certifications. B, data assertions and cooperative agreements and subawards. What about C, MOUs and teaming agreements and grants? Of those, which one does not need to be forwarded to our office for review? Anyone want to try it?
I will.
Which one of those does not need to be forwarded to our office?
Oh, I think it's the material transfer agreements.
Okay. The answer to this question is all of these need to be transferred to our office. You may be asked to help with the material transfer agreement, but the final execution of that document will be done in our office. So we would always ask that you start by giving it to us, and then you may be included later for information. And also, you always will be told at the end what the results of the award document and how it's closed out. So let's try the same question a different way, but this has to do with whether you were listening earlier. Which documents listed above can be signed by the PI as the authorized organizational representative if he or she is the head of the department? Of all those documents I listed, MTAs, non-disclosures, data assertions, MOUs, maybe teaming agreements, grants, of any of those, which one can be signed by a department head?
Okay, I'll try again.
None.
They all can be signed by the department head.
I heard somebody say none. Who's that?
Melissa.
So the answer,
That was Melissa.
thanks, Melissa. So Melissa gets the prize. She wins.
I didn't win.
No, Melissa won. The answer is none. None of those can be signed by a department head. And for clarification, that's my takeaway for you. None of these things should be signed by you. Protect yourself and let us protect the university. Do not take the liability nor responsibility of signing any of these documents as an authorized rep for the university. Only an AOR, which is an authorized organizational rep for the Prairie View University, can legally bind Prairie View University to a contract. So just remember that as soon as someone tries to say, well, you can sign this one, just agree to disagree and send it on to our office. At the bottom of the slide, there is a very tiny link there that we can provide for you later if you ever have any questions. that is the link to the CEO delegation of authority for contract administration. This goes all the way up to the Board of Regents. So we're not kidding around here of who can and cannot sign certain documents in the school. Okay, so I wanted to leave that with you as my takeaway, and also to let you know that we're here to help. This is what we do, and we're learning as we go, because you guys are pretty innovative. The agreements and research you're doing out there, and we're having to do business with different people. So we're learning to contract and award with different agencies, and expanding our ability to help you get funded. My information is on the first slide, I think, but I'd like to tell you now to go with me now to Kimberly's group, who can help you spend your money.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And once you've reached the grants management and accounting unit of OSP, a big congratulations is on deck for you. We are working diligently with our internal and our external customers to ensure prompt and accurate administration and reporting of your projects, proposals, and awards. I am Kimberly Cooks. I am the Associate Director for the Office of Sponsored Programs. So look,
There it
Donna,
is.
there is your slide. Look at there.
It got in the deck wrong. Okay, move on.
Next slide, please. So I just wanted to talk about the pre and post award cycle. So you've had your idea, you've talked to Elizabeth and Vita about your proposal development. You talked to Donna about negotiating whatever needs to be negotiated. And then you get to talk to the greatest team ever, the post award team, where we will help you with your project from the onset all the way to the closeout.
You're muted, Cam.
Sorry. So when we talk about grants management, we're talking about our project administration department, who will actually receive the award. We have decided to streamline our processes in OSP. So we will then assign a project administrator your award packet. The project administrator will then go into our system and create your account number and notify the awardee, the PIs, of the account setup. I want to just stop there for a moment. We have a account setup form that is required to be completed so our project administrators can get the account set up in a timely manner. We will be sending that form out as soon as we know that the award has been granted. We are going to talk about how we would spend the funds of the approved budget. We will be the PAs will be required to initiate, they will be required to monitor, as well as approve our sub-recipient expenditures. I want you to remember this acronym, MCR. We are required in grants management to manage, control, and regulate everything in regards to that project. For example, any modifications, any no-cost extensions, anything that is required to make sure that your grant is completely expended through the time frame, the allotted time frame. Grants management is going to be responsible for that. The PAs are going to be required to review and validate all expenditures in our accounting system, which is famous. They will be looking at and reviewing as well as approving any travel, and all expenditures that are allowable and accessible will be reviewed by our PAs. They will communicate, your project administrator will then communicate with our grants accounting team to ensure that all of your financial accounting is done in a timely manner. And our PAs will also provide some training in Maestro as well as Famous for any PI or for any department personnel that needs the training. The PA is here to help you, but sometimes you might want to see some things for yourself. So if you want any type of training, our project administrators will be able to assist you in that area. Aligning with Dr. Bailey's vision for OSP, she decided to divide our grants management team into departments so that you'll know exactly who you would need to work with. Melissa Mosley-Hain has been a project administrator for over 23 years, and she is very knowledgeable, and she will be working with several departments such as cooperative agricultural research, agriculture, the College of Business, computer science, and I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence on the departments that Melissa will be working with. They are listed. We will definitely get this list out to everyone on this call and whoever else needs it. Latoria Johnson has been back with PV for a couple of months, very knowledgeable in grants and pre-award, and we just felt she would be great in post-award, and she'll be working with the Department of Nursing, Chemistry, Biology, as well as Mathematics to do anything that's needed in regards to your grants management. And I have been afforded the opportunity to work with the College of Engineering. So I'm really excited. I hope you all can hear the excitement in my voice as it pertains to engineering and any grants management that is needed. You can change the slide. If there are any questions that you have regarding your proposal, your grant, your award, I've listed Melissa and Tori as well as myself, our information. We are located, like I said, like Dr. Bailey said, in Delco, the Delco building. We're all located on the first floor. You will get this information. Please feel free to reach out to Melissa and Tori regarding your concerns, any issues that you have. So grants accounting, which is my true love, the accounting portion of it, the auditing part of this process, is responsible for all post-award activity applicable to the project that each staff accountant is assigned. The staff accountants are responsible for all invoicing on all active projects. They are responsible for generating financial reports. We are to do cost transfer, costing allocation, time and effort reporting. I'm sure when we have more time, we can talk in more detail, especially about our time and effort reporting, because that is something we are going to be really pushing for moving forward in our department. As Dr. Bailey stated, we are now doing quarterly reconciliations. You will get to see where your budget started, how much you spent during that quarter, and where you are. That'll give you an opportunity to ask questions of us, for us to ask questions of you. We will be doing project closeouts as well as LOCs. As well as like grants management, our grants accounting is now being assigned through agencies. We've decided to do agencies so that Carol Starks as well as Troy Burns, who are both new to our to PV. I think they've been here about 3 to 4 months each. Will be able to develop a rapport with the agencies. Elizabeth stated that we have to upload to several websites. And so it's just easier for Carol and Troy to work with the agencies instead of the departments. But we will work in conjunction with our management team, our project administration team, to ensure that if you have any questions about your grants, you'll know exactly who you need to talk to. But always remember, go to your PA first. So Carol has the privilege of working with USDA, NASA, the ACF, just all sorts of agencies. And Troy has the privilege of working with all universities, because we do sub-awards with some of our universities and colleges. So Troy will be working with that, as well as the Department of Defense, Justice, and Transportation. As listed before, I've given you information on how to reach our grants accounting team. We're all located right here in Delco building on the first floor. Troy and Carol have the privilege of working close in proximity. So if you need them, they are there. We have been practicing social distancing in our offices. So if you need to speak with us, you know, thank God for technology. We have Team, we have Zoom, we have email. I personally, I'm a talker, so give me a call. I'll talk to you all day.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give you some general information about our department. The last slide. I provided the link. We can be found at our PVAMU website. Click on research, click on OSP. You will get to see our beautiful faces. You'll get to see all of the services that we offer. You'll be able to click on forms that you will need in regards to your setups, your costing allocations. Anything that you need can be found on the website. Again, our great leader is Dr. Bailey. I am so proud to be working with Elizabeth, Vita, Donna, Melissa, Tori, Carol, and Troy, and we are OSP Reimagined.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate each of you for joining me and giving a brief overview of our office. So with that, I'll go back to you, Karen.
Thank you so much. Wow, this is exciting. OSP Reimagined. We do have a couple of questions, if you don't mind, in the chat box. One of them is referring to a previous slide. So Dr. Tony wanted you to go back to a previous slide. It's just, I think maybe 2 from this one. We'll go back.
Yes, ma'am. It was the slide showing all the different agencies that the staff, OSP staff was going to be over. It had Mr. Troy Burns, I think, on there, and someone else. I was trying to capture that information.
Miss Carol Starks. And if there are any agencies that's missing, we will definitely assign those to the applicable person to do those. This is just a general overview. There are so many agencies out there that we work with. We might only have one active grant, but all the major agencies have been listed and assigned.
We will soon be posting this to our website, so you don't have to try and write it all down either.
Here's another question. What is the deadline to submit a no-cost extension request for a grant? How soon before the grant ends do we need to file that?
Okay, no-cost extensions should generally be submitted at least 60 days in advance.
Okay, Dr. Kamasi, I hope that answers your question. If not, please
Thank you.
let us
Thank
know
you
with
very
the
much.
follow-up. Here's another question from Dr. Abalaji. She says, I'm still learning this grants process. However, I noticed that completing these grant research processes can be problematic with reduced faculty follow-ups and completion of these processes due to the lack of workable accessibilities with needed corrections with the grants application processes, above others, just to name a few. Are you saying that the Research and Innovation Section Department is more user-friendly today than previously assumed and experienced personally? How and why? I feel like there's a lot packed into that one statement.
Yeah,
So
I was going to
if
ask
you can answer that, and if not, that Dr. Abalaji is online today, so we can have her to clarify.
okay, because I was listening, but I really wasn't understanding what that question was asking.
Certainly, Dr. Abalaji, do you mind providing a little bit of clarity for the question so that we can make sure that we get you the answer that you're seeking?
Or
if not, she can always reach out to you. We know how to reach you.
Can I chime in here, please?
Certainly.
So yes, we are more accessible to our PIs and our staff now. I don't want to ever think about what happened in the past. We cannot change that. But moving forward, we have decided as a team that we will be more accessible in forms of communicating with those individuals that reach out to us. We will be answering emails. We will be answering our phones. Even if we don't have an answer for you at that time, we will acknowledge the fact that you reached out and that we are in the process of finding those things that you need. I am new to Prairie View as well, and I don't know about the previous staff, but I know that those that are currently here, we are committed to showing you that we are knowledgeable, we are professional, and we can get things done in a timely manner. We are not perfect. There are some things that will definitely fall through the crack, but I feel like communication is the key. And if you've worked with us in the last, I can say 5 to 6 months, you should see a difference in just the time that we've been here.
OSP Reimagined. There's another question in the chat box for cost allocation request. Can we get a form or email sent to us when we complete the request saying that we've done so? So maybe a confirmation that may be what Dr. Rose is requesting. Can we get a form or email sent to us when we complete the request saying that we have done so?
So when costing allocations are done, they are submitted via the portal. When costing allocations are reviewed and approved, the person who generates the costing allocation gets an email stating that it has been approved. If there's something else that you need, if you send a costing allocation directly to your project administrator via email, they will respond back via that email stating that it had been received, and I think that should suffice. I know I do quite a few costing allocations, and I always send back an email notification stating that it has been completed.
Dr. Saboni mentioned that HUD is not listed on the list of agencies. It may not have been a complete. Do you want to speak to that?
Okay, we will definitely take a look at that. Thank you so much.
Are there any other questions? There is a survey in the chat box, and it is a brief survey, and it helps us to ensure that the sessions that we present to you on our Monday Research and Innovation Training Institute are sessions or trainings that are of value to you. So we would certainly appreciate it if you would just copy and paste that link and complete that brief survey about today's session. And if you think of something that you want to ask and you after this session is over, please go ahead and contact the Office of Sponsored Programs at any time, and they are definitely reimagined, and they're doing incredible work with the way that they have designed their new system and the processes that they have. Let's give them an opportunity to prove everything that they've said to us today, and I believe you'll be surprised. Thank you, Dr. Bailey. Thank you so much for your team joining us today. Dr. Bailey, did you have any final words before we end today?
Yes, again, we are accessible. And if I love Teams, reach out to me via Teams. I like video chat because it's the next best thing to being face-to-face in person. And I'll take the time to talk to you and share with you and to try to resolve whatever issues you may encounter. As Kim said, we are not the office of the past. We are moving forward. And I hope that you all have seen the difference and continue to work with us. We don't have all the answers, but we know we're together. And again, thank you for your time, and thank you, Karen, for having us. And do look for other series on doing business with OSP, because we are reimagined. There are some differences in the way that we are handling business. And so we want to reach out to you all and share that information with you.
Hey, this is Kim. Can I ask a few questions or make some suggestions?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Kim.
Yes, so I think the information provided today is, in general, in principle, I think that's pretty promising to me, especially in terms of your plan to improve your communication with the PIs and others. So I like that. But I am curious. I mean, Elizabeth mentioned that contact pre-proposal team earlier, but do you guys have some guidelines how early can we contact you? And then also, if you, I know you all busy, so if we going to work with you on time for submission of the proposal, for example, how early do you want us to complete the submission, sending you all the material you need for the submission, things like that. So we need some more, let's say, specific guidelines, how we can work with you guys, your team, especially pre-proposal and the contract stage. And then also it would be, I mean, is it possible for you guys to say, okay, if we send you an email for any question or anything, what would be turnaround time to get any kind of response, either acknowledgement or anything from your team?
Dr. Kim, since those are proposal questions, I thought I'd address them. As far as notifying our office that you're working on something, as soon as you believe you're going to be doing that proposal, notify us, even if it's months in advance. That way we can get it on our dance card, so to speak, and know that it's there. I know I try to reach out and let people know, you know, when we have a heavy deadline and things might slow down. But the sooner we know, the sooner we can get anything back and have time to schedule meetings and discuss various items. We would like to have finals of everything at least 5 business days early. We're working on getting that a bit more codified. That's more of a newer concept that we didn't have under prior leadership, but we're going to work towards that. And we're going to work towards having everything in routing a lot sooner than we have it now. But I mean, what we want to know early that we're working on it, and honestly working on it. You do have some colleagues that will notify me that they have a proposal, then nothing happens till the day before. That doesn't really help anybody. We got to start the planning process and, you know, look at the size of the project and how much planning needs to go into it. I hope that helped. Hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you did.
Dr. Kim, I'd like to add, since you mentioned contracts, as far as if you ask a question, when will someone reply? We have a 24-hour turnaround time, at least for a reply right now. That's what we have as a group have committed to. It may not be, I've got it, it's finished, but I will answer you of where it is in the contract. When it's in the contract house, I'll let you know if it's back at the sponsor, they're reviewing after I've made my changes or anything. So we have a 24-hour turnaround for some type of answer.
Thank you.
Final words?
Did that answer all your questions, Dr. Keel?
Yes, I got all the answers that I was
Okay.
looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Again, thank you everyone for joining us. This video, a recording of this video, will be available on our YouTube channel, which is PVAMU Research and Innovation. I put a link in the chat box. We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that when we upload new videos, you are one of the first to be notified. And I encourage you also to complete the survey that is in the chat so that we know that the information we're sharing with you in these weekly sessions is information that has value to you. We thank you again for joining us for the Research and Innovation Training Institute today. Thank you to Dr. Bailey and your team